Today's video was made in partnership with PTO Link, the original universal PTO Quick Connect system. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad you're here, and you're going to be really glad you're here because if you have ever struggled to connect your attachment drive shaft to your tractor PTO, then you're going to want to stick around for this video. First of all, who am I kidding by saying if you've ever struggled? We've all struggled. I mean, this is the worst part of connecting any attachment to a tractor, especially when you have a drive shaft like this one on my bush hog, which has this ridiculous push-pull mechanism. You have to pull back this collar while you're pushing forward. It's so counterintuitive, and not to mention that it's just heavy, dirty, and awkward. Now, you know that when I take on a product here and use it on the property and feature it on the channel, it has to be a product that I think I'm going to use, and then I think, therefore, you will want to use it. If it works for me, it's likely to work for you. So the product has to be good, and it has to be something useful. And my agreement with all of my quote-unquote sponsored products is that I get complete artistic and creative license. I get to talk about the product, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I will share anything I don't like about a product as well. That's always the agreement, and it's always worked out well. Now, saying that, I'm going to start off being 100% completely honest. And PTO Link, I know you're watching this, but we talked about this. I was not excited about this product. I mean, I have seen this advertised for years, and it did not excite me. The reason is, one of the biggest problems I have is lining up the spline and connecting the drive shaft. And when I saw this product, at least on video, I thought, well, you still have to turn it and line it up. And how's that going to be any better? Well, the fact is, it is better, and I'm going to show you that in just a moment. It offers a couple of things that will make that easier to do. So I'll show you that in a moment, but first let me show you close up what this is and how it works, and then we'll connect it to the tractor. Let me just show you these very simple components. Super easy. You have this end that goes on to the tractor PTO. So that goes onto the PTO of the tractor. This end goes on to the attachment drive shaft. So we'll start with this piece. Now, this slides onto the tractor PTO. It does have that push-pull collar, which in this case it makes sense because you only have to pull this back one time, put it on the tractor, and it stays. Plus, you can get behind this, pull the collar back just like that, and slide it in. So that doesn't bother me because this is not something you're going to be taking on and off. This should really stay on your tractor all the time. And then this end simply goes onto your PTO attachment like you would connect it to your tractor. So you connect that. So now this is on the attachment side, the implement side. This is on the tractor side. You simply bring the two together, push them together, and lock them in place, just like that. Then there's an additional locking pin that I guess is for safety, maybe for security, but you slide that pin in there, and that really holds things extra tight. I don't think it would go anywhere either way, but you have to put that pin in there. And this is not a how-to video. I want you to read the directions. I want you to follow all the instructions from PTO Link. I'm just showing you how it works. Let me show you one more time and a little closer view of how this connects. You see these three slots here and the three tabs on this side. So you're just lining up those three slots. You can see it's sort of like a cam where you push it in and you turn it. So you line those up. There's a pin here on this side, spring-loaded. See that? So when you push these together and then turn it, that pin drops into the hole. And then that's when you would add this additional pin to the other side or to one of the other holes, like that, and you pop that out to remove it. Now, after that's been removed, you want to take your attachment off. You pull this pin back, the spring-loaded pin. You rotate it just a few degrees, and it practically falls apart for you. So it really is just that easy. But let's actually put it on the tractor and on the attachment and hook it up. Now again, read the instructions very carefully. This PTO connector does add about 3 or 4 inches to your PTO, which means you may have to cut your drive shaft on your attachment. It's very critical that your drive shaft is not too long and not too short. You especially don't want it to be too long, because what can happen is when it compresses together, when you're at that point where the drive shaft is expanding and retracting, if it's too long, you're going to put pressure on your gearbox, and you could really do a lot of damage to your tractor or your attachment. So make sure you get that part right. Now in my case, for this bush hog, the drive shaft was already sized before I had the Pat's Easy Change. When I added the Pat's Easy Change or another quick hitch, that adds about 3 or 4 inches. So this actually makes up for the difference. So if you're sized for your attachments without a quick hitch and then you add a quick hitch later, you may have to put a PTO extender. Well, this is going to replace that. So it could be a win-win for you. But again, it's really critical that your drive shafts are sized properly. So you're going to have to really focus on that. Okay, did I say that enough? I think I did. Okay, so I'm going to start with the tractor side of things. You'll want to make sure this has a lot of grease on it. Maybe stick some grease in here, because again, once this goes on, it's going to stay on. So have that greased up pretty well. Line it up like you would any attachment. Pull back the collar, slide it on until it locks in place, and that's it. That is there to stay. Now the other end is going to get attached to the drive shaft of the attachment, but let me just show you how this works again. Once this is attached, you'll bring it up, line up those 3 slots, put it in place, turn it, and it's in. So you can see now the drive shaft is sticking out, again, 3 or 4 inches more. It was back here. That's also one of the benefits of this thing, because sometimes with these compact tractors, it's difficult to get in there. So by having this back further, it makes it a lot easier. So we'll pull that pin, rotate, pull it out. Let me hook this on the attachment side first. Okay, now here on the drive shaft of the attachment, we've got this end. Again, you want to grease that up. You always want to use a lot of grease on your attachments, any points that connect like that. But anyway, that'll be greased up. I'd throw some grease on here too, but today I'm not. Line that up, and you put that on just like if you were going to put this onto your tractor. So I'm going to push that in. Now this is the end of the attachment. And again, you could and maybe should buy several of these and just keep one on each attachment. So that's what it's going to look like. And now we'll attach this to the tractor. By the way, you might remember this tip that I shared actually years ago. I take a tarp strap and I basically create a sling for my drive shaft. And you can see now I'm hands-free. The drive shaft is up off the ground. I store my attachments this way. That way it keeps it off the ground. And it also takes all the weight off. So now I can work with this without fighting with the weight of the drive shaft. Now this one's a little bit tight, so I'm going to have to take it off for that. But still, it gives you a nice area to work with, and you're not fighting with it as much. So now I'll unhook that, and I'll slide this forward, line up those ears, turn it, and lock it in place. And that's it. Then we add that extra safety pin there. I guess it can go from the front or the back, whatever works. And that's it. We're ready to go. So this makes connecting your attachment to your PTO so much easier, but sometimes you do have a stubborn attachment. So for that, PTO Link does sell an optional alignment tool, and you can use this for connecting or disconnecting your attachment. And basically this gives you the leverage that you might need to turn it just enough to lock it into place, or just enough to unlock it. I'll show you, for example, here. We'll take out the locking pin, and then we need to turn this just a little bit to unlatch it. But if my attachment is not coming off, that's where this comes into play. Works like a spanner wrench. You just put it on there, pull out the little pin, and there it is. And the same thing if we're trying to attach it and we're having a hard time turning it, you can use the other end and see how that just gives you the added leverage you need to put that right in place. So that's that, and that is that. Well, look, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that the PTO Link is going to make connecting your attachments fun and enjoyable. That's never going to happen. But I can tell you this, it makes it so much easier. So much easier. There have been times where I've had to connect an attachment to do a project, and just by the time I'm done connecting the attachment, I am beat. You know, I'm dirty, I'm banged up, and just beat. And I'm not being a baby about it, but that's just how it is sometimes. You just have to fight with it. This just makes it a lot easier. So if you struggle with connecting your PTO, I think you're going to really enjoy this piece of equipment. Reach out to PTO Link. It's tractorptolink.com. They're a great company, great people. They will help you find the right product for your tractor because there are a couple different units for different size tractors, and they will help you out with that. Be sure to use code MCG at checkout for a 5% discount. I should have mentioned that earlier, but save 5% with code MCG. And, you know, this is about as infomercially as it gets for me. You know, I don't like doing infomercial stuff, but I like this product. I like this company, and I think you will too. So thanks for being here today. I really do appreciate it. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel on YouTube or followed on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, I invite you to join me. Thanks for watching, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.